The rich bride humiliated the hotel cleaner. Minutes later, the groom canceled the wedding. Have you ever wondered how just 1 minute can completely change someone's life? What if the biggest wedding of the year was destroyed, not by a scandal, not by betrayal, but by a single act of cruelty? Today, you're about to hear the unforgettable story of a wealthy bride who believed money made her better than everyone else, until the groom witnessed something he could never ignore. Stay with me until the end, because this story proves that character is worth far more than diamonds. The Crystal Grand Hotel sparkled under thousands of golden lights. Elegant white roses decorated every corner of the ballroom, while a live orchestra played soft classical music. Luxury cars lined the entrance as celebrities, politicians, business executives, and socialites arrived dressed in expensive designer outfits. Everyone had come to witness what the media called the wedding of the year. The bride was Vanessa Harrington, the glamorous daughter of billionaire real estate developer Richard Harrington. She had grown up surrounded by luxury, private schools, vacations on yachts, and everything money could buy. The groom was Daniel Brooks, a brilliant entrepreneur who had built one of America's fastest-growing technology companies from nothing. Unlike Vanessa, Daniel came from a humble family and had worked tirelessly for every success he achieved. To the world, they seemed like the perfect couple. But behind the glittering decorations, fate had prepared a very different ending. Long before the first guest arrived, Maria Thompson was already hard at work. At 58 years old, Maria had spent nearly 2 decades cleaning the Crystal Grand Hotel. Every morning before sunrise, she polished marble floors, cleaned mirrors until they shined, vacuumed carpets, and made sure every hallway looked perfect. Most guests barely noticed her. Some walked right past without saying hello. Others never looked at her at all. Yet Maria smiled anyway. Life had not been easy. Several years earlier, she had lost her only daughter to cancer. Since then, she had been raising her grandson Ethan alone, while working 2 jobs just to keep food on the table and help pay for his education. Despite all the hardships she had endured, Maria refused to become bitter. She believed kindness costs nothing, and she treated everyone with respect. Only 30 minutes remained before the wedding ceremony. Maria carefully pushed her cleaning cart through the private hallway where the bridal party was getting ready. Management had instructed her to perform one final inspection to ensure everything was spotless. As she turned the corner, Vanessa rushed out of the bridal suite while looking down at her phone. Neither woman saw the other in time. They bumped shoulders. A small bottle of water slipped from Maria's hand, splashing just a few drops onto the edge of Vanessa's expensive wedding gown. The stain was barely noticeable. Maria immediately gasped, "Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry." She quickly reached for a clean towel. "I can remove it right away." Instead of accepting the apology, Vanessa stepped backward with a look of disgust. "What did you just do?" The hallway fell silent. Bridesmaids froze. Photographers lowered their cameras. Maria apologized again. "It was an accident, ma'am." But Vanessa wasn't listening. "Do you even know how much this dress costs?" Maria quietly shook her head. "I'm terribly sorry." Vanessa laughed coldly. "Sorry doesn't replace a $500,000 wedding dress." She looked Maria up and down. Her eyes stopped on Maria's worn shoes and faded cleaning uniform. "I guess people like you don't understand expensive things." Maria lowered her head. "I'll pay for any cleaning that's needed." Vanessa burst into laughter. "You? Pay? With what? Your mop?" Some bridesmaids laughed nervously. Others looked away in embarrassment. Maria's face turned bright red. She wished she could disappear. Then, without warning, Vanessa grabbed the cleaning cart and shoved it across the hallway. Buckets crashed onto the marble floor. Cleaning bottles rolled in every direction. Mops scattered everywhere. One bucket struck Maria's leg, causing her to stumble. Vanessa pointed toward the exit. "Get this trash out of my sight." The hallway became painfully quiet. Unknown to everyone, someone had witnessed everything. Daniel Brooks had arrived early because he wanted to surprise his bride before the ceremony. Instead, he watched the woman he loved publicly humiliate an innocent employee. Without saying a word, Daniel walked toward Maria. The wealthy CEO quietly knelt beside the hotel cleaner. Together, they picked up every bottle, every towel, and every cleaning tool that had fallen onto the floor. Everyone stared in disbelief. Vanessa couldn't believe what she was seeing. "Daniel, what are you doing?" He ignored her. Instead, he looked at Maria. "Are you hurt?" Maria forced a gentle smile. "I'll be all right." Just then, the hotel manager hurried over after hearing the noise. Seeing Maria on the floor, he immediately helped her stand. Turning to Daniel, the manager spoke with deep respect. "Sir, Maria is one of the finest employees this hotel has ever had. In 20 years, she has never received a single complaint." An elderly concierge stepped forward. "Several years ago, a guest accidentally left a briefcase containing more than $200,000. Maria found it. She returned every dollar. She refused the reward." Another employee quietly added, "Last winter, she secretly bought warm coats for the children of several co-workers who couldn't afford them." Maria looked embarrassed. "Please, I didn't do those things for recognition." Daniel listened carefully. Then he slowly turned toward Vanessa. His face had changed. There was sadness in his eyes, but there was also certainty. Inside the ballroom, the orchestra began playing the wedding processional. Guests stood to their feet. The wedding planner smiled nervously. "It's time." Daniel remained completely still. He looked at Vanessa. Then, with calm determination, he removed his wedding ring. "I can't marry you." For a moment, no one breathed. Vanessa stared in disbelief. "What? You can't be serious." Daniel spoke quietly. "I am." Tears of anger filled Vanessa's eyes. "You're embarrassing me." Daniel shook his head. "No, you embarrassed yourself." He paused before continuing. "You didn't reveal who Maria is today. You revealed who you are. If someone can treat another human being with such cruelty simply because they clean floors, then I cannot trust them to build a life with me. I wanted a partner with compassion. I found someone blinded by pride." The hallway echoed with shocked whispers. Within minutes, news spread through the ballroom. The wedding had been canceled. Guests couldn't believe it. Some quietly left, others stood frozen in disbelief. Vanessa pleaded with Daniel. She blamed stress. She blamed wedding pressure. She blamed everyone except herself. Daniel walked away, not because of one accident, but because that single moment had revealed the truth hidden beneath years of luxury. The weeks that followed were difficult for Vanessa. The headlines disappeared. The glamorous parties stopped. Many so-called friends vanished. For the first time in her life, she was forced to face herself. Every night she remembered Maria's frightened expression. The image haunted her. Eventually, Vanessa returned to the Crystal Grand Hotel. This time, there were no cameras, no designer dress, no assistants, just a woman carrying the weight of regret. She asked if Maria was working. When Maria appeared, Vanessa's eyes filled with tears. "I'm not here to make excuses. I'm here to apologize. I judged your worth because of your job. I forgot that every person deserves respect. I was wrong." Maria remained silent for a moment. Then she smiled warmly. "I forgave you long ago." Vanessa began crying. "I don't deserve your forgiveness." Maria gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Forgiveness isn't about what someone deserves. It's about choosing peace over bitterness." Those words changed Vanessa forever. Months later, Vanessa quietly began volunteering at homeless shelters. She donated money to scholarship programs for hotel employees and their children. She spent her weekends serving meals instead of attending luxury parties. She no longer sought attention. She sought purpose. Daniel heard about the changes through mutual friends. He never contacted her, but he sincerely hoped she had become the person she was always capable of being. Meanwhile, Maria continued working at the Crystal Grand Hotel. She still cleaned hallways. She still smiled at strangers. She still believed kindness mattered. Years later, her grandson Ethan graduated from college with honors as an engineer. Standing before thousands of people at his graduation ceremony, Ethan smiled proudly at his grandmother sitting in the front row. "My grandmother cleaned hotel floors for 20 years so I could stand here today. She taught me that dignity isn't measured by wealth. It's measured by the way we treat people." The audience rose to their feet in a standing ovation. Maria wiped tears from her eyes. She had never owned a mansion. She had never driven a luxury car. She had never appeared on magazine covers. But she had built something far more valuable, a legacy of kindness. And that is a treasure no amount of money can ever buy. If this story touched your heart, remember this simple truth. Treat every person with respect, no matter their job or social status. One moment of kindness can change a life, and one moment of cruelty can change your own forever. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this story with someone who believes that true wealth begins with a good heart.